I'm seeing a lot in the chat that most of you folks from Florida, from Kissimmee, you're infuriated at this press conference. You wanted to know more information. Yeah, we all did. We all wanted to know. But, just realize that in the end, them not giving out information will result in a much more thorough prosecution, and the chance that uh, he could get out off on a technicality or anything like that. That's why, and again, we use the term ad nauseum, cross your T's and dot your I's. But it's so important. The chief, Betty Holland, said that also. And yeah, we get sick of hearing it. But the main thing, why did they do this press conference? Well, I think it's almost like letting a little bit of air out of the balloon before it blows, because you obviously, the press, the community, they want to know something. Did she throw you anything today? Very little. Very, very little. Is anyone satisfied that, oh, okay, now I see more. I understand. No, I don't think that they threw you really anything today that you didn't already know before she did this press conference. Bill, do they take facial samples for DNA? JPL, the Stelladoro, no. The way they collect DNA, and it's called an exemplar, is they take a Q-tip and they swab the inside of your mouth for saliva, and then they put it in a paper envelope, and it's processed from that. That's called a DNA exemplar.
Hair samples are usually to determine if a person has narcotics in their system or something of that nature. Like you just said, Billy, if they want to do a DNA comparison, they get the exemplar from the swab on the inside of the mouth. Sometimes court ordered as well. If a person doesn't submit to it, they get a court order if they have enough probable cause for that person to be, compared with a DNA sample.
Well, we saw a lot of hair DNA in the Gilgo Beach case with Rex Uerman and his wife, Asa Ellerup. Right. Her hair was found on 3 of the victims. And that's a procedure called mitochondrial DNA. It's very complicated, but law enforcement and labs like OTHREM have gotten better at processing mitochondrial DNA and making identifications that couldn't be done 20 years ago, 30 years ago. Now they're doing it routinely. In this case, one of the problems with DNA in this case, unless of course it's found under the fingernails, is that they all live together.
Yes.
So wouldn't you expect their DNA? Of course, Madeline's DNA will be inside Stephon Stearns' vehicle because she rode in that car all the time. So is that really strong evidence? But depending where we find the DNA, that could be good evidence. But, as I said, they live together. Their DNA is expected to be commingled in a lot of places.
Billy, very good point, because if, let's say a hair is found in that car, the argument's going to be made by a defense attorney if it's brought out. Well, she's in that car. A human being loses between 50 and 100 hairs a day. She probably lost that one of the times when she was in the vehicle. However, if it's blood, how did her blood get in that car? Now you have to have an argument. Well, she cut herself and she was in the car. They took her to the hospital, but we can really vet that. We can check something like that. So that type of DNA, if it's inside the vehicle, is going to be much harder to explain as opposed to a commingled hair, like you said. Since both people have access to the vehicle, to find the hair wouldn't be unusual. However, blood, something like that would be unusual. So there may be things that are found on the body that maybe are also found in the car with regard to fibers or something like that. Then possibly there could be a connection. But with regard to this situation, as you said, Billy, she's got access to that vehicle at different times. So something like a hair, her DNA, is not going to be very powerful.
Absolutely. Pamela Rich Properties from the chat. Why would they not ask when the mother knew about the essay? They would ask. They're just not telling us. They're just not volunteering that information to us. Of course they asked. Look, I don't know how thorough the interview was with Jennifer Soto, because very early on, before they found Madeline's body, they were, of course, treating her with kid gloves because she was the mother of a missing 13-year-old. So after they find her body, did they bring her back in and re-interview her? I don't know. And they're not offering that. They're not offering that. Do we know whether or not it had been rumored that Jennifer Soto lawyered up? Do we know that for a fact? I don't think we do know it. People had implied it, but no one said, oh, this is her attorney. She's lawyered up. We can't talk to her anymore. So there's so many things about this investigation that we do not know. Pessa, since Maddie was scared to sleep alone, Stone went to her room late at night when mom was passed out.
Very possible.
Yeah, I mean, look, these are some of the horrific facts we're going to find out. Kissimmee, Florida, that's a great point, Bill. There were other men in that house besides the three of them. Rooms were apparently being rented out. That's, to me, and I understand the economic situation in this country and in this world, in this Kissimmee, Florida, but I think it's so dangerous to bring people into your home unless they have a separate apartment. But if they're renting a room and they're living in your home proper, I think that's very scary, especially when you have a 13-year-old daughter.